What does it truly mean to be happy? Is it found in the shiny new car parked in the driveway, the endless stream of packages arriving at the doorstep, or the overflowing closet filled with the latest fashions? For generations, society has tied happiness to the accumulation of possessions, believing that more is always better, and that owning more will somehow fill the void we sometimes feel inside. But as many are discovering, the truth about happiness might actually be found in owning less. Imagine waking up in a room that isn't cluttered with things you barely use. Each object you see has meaning, purpose, and brings you joy. There's space to move, to breathe, to think. The pressure to keep up with trends, to buy what everyone else is buying, slowly fades away. In its place comes a quiet contentment, a sense of peace that isn't dependent on the next purchase. The journey toward owning less often begins with a single step: asking ourselves what truly matters. We start to question whether the latest gadgets, the overflowing bookshelves, or the countless kitchen tools are making life easier or simply adding to our stress. As we sift through our belongings, we may notice that much of what we thought we needed actually sits untouched, gathering dust. We begin to realize that letting go of excess isn't about deprivation, but about making room for what matters most. Scientific research supports this idea. Studies have shown that clutter can increase stress and anxiety, making it harder to relax and focus. On the other hand, a tidy, organized space, filled only with things that serve a purpose or bring genuine joy, can boost our mood and improve our overall well-being. It's not just about the physical space either. When we own less, we spend less time cleaning, organizing, and worrying about our possessions. We free up time, energy, and mental space for experiences, relationships, and personal growth. Owning less also challenges the consumer-driven culture that constantly tells us we need more to be happy. Advertising bombards us with messages that happiness is just one purchase away. But have you ever noticed how quickly the excitement of a new item fades? The hedonic treadmill describes this phenomenon. As soon as we get used to our new possessions, we start looking for the next thing. It's an endless cycle that rarely leads to lasting happiness. Minimalism offers an alternative. It's not about living with nothing, it's about living with intention. By choosing to keep only what adds value to our lives, we create space for the things that truly matter: meaningful connections, time for hobbies, moments of reflection, and opportunities for adventure. We discover that happiness isn't found in the things we own, but in the life we lead. Of course, the path to owning less isn't always easy. Letting go of possessions can be emotional, especially when they're tied to memories or represent dreams we once had. But with each item we release, we learn to trust ourselves more, to live in the present, and to hold on to what really matters. Ultimately, happiness and owning less are deeply connected. When we stop chasing after more, we find gratitude for what we have. We become more mindful, more present, and more open to the simple joys of everyday life. The truth is, happiness isn't about filling our homes with stuff. It's about filling our lives with meaning, purpose, and connection. And sometimes, the greatest joy comes not from what we add, but from what we're willing to let go. When we think about clutter, our minds often turn to overflowing drawers, messy desks, or piles of laundry accumulating in the corners of our homes. Physical clutter is easy to notice and hard to ignore. Its presence can make us feel overwhelmed, stressed, and out of control. But there's another kind of clutter that's even more insidious: mental clutter. Unlike the mess in our physical environment, mental clutter lives in our thoughts, our worries, and our endless to-do lists, quietly sapping our focus and energy. Physical clutter is tangible. It's the mail that goes unsorted, the clothes you meant to donate months ago, the kitchen countertops buried under appliances and unopened packages. This kind of clutter can weigh us down, making even simple tasks feel more difficult. Studies have shown that physical environments filled with excess stuff can increase stress levels, distract us from our goals, and even impact our ability to make decisions. The more things we have to look at, the harder it becomes to zero in on what truly matters. Yet, physical clutter is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface lies mental clutter, a chaotic collection of thoughts, worries, regrets, and anxieties that swirl through our minds. Mental clutter might look like an endless mental list of tasks you need to complete, constant second-guessing of past choices, or a stream of worries about the future. It can be triggered by information overload, unresolved emotions, or simply the fast pace of modern life. The effects of mental clutter are profound. When our minds are crowded with thoughts and anxieties, we find it hard to focus, to be present, or to enjoy the simple moments. It becomes difficult to prioritize, to think creatively, or to relax. Over time, this can lead to feelings of burnout, irritability, and even a sense of hopelessness. Interestingly, physical and mental clutter are closely linked. A messy environment can feed into a messy mind, while a cluttered mind can make it difficult to keep up with the physical organization of our lives. For example, when you're mentally overwhelmed, you might put off tidying up, which leads to more physical clutter, which in turn increases your sense of overwhelm. A vicious cycle. The good news is, addressing one type of clutter can often help with the other. Clearing out physical clutter can bring a surprising sense of mental relief. Tidying up a room, organizing your workspace, or finally sorting through that dreaded pile of paperwork can create a feeling of accomplishment and peace. This is because our environments subtly influence how we think and feel. When our surroundings are calm and organized, our minds are freer to focus, create, and rest. Similarly, tackling mental clutter can make it easier to manage the physical aspects of our lives. Techniques like journaling, meditation, or simply taking a few minutes each day to breathe deeply and reflect can help quiet the chaos inside. Digital decluttering, unsubscribing from unnecessary emails, reducing social media use, or setting boundaries around technology can also go a long way in creating mental space. Ultimately, the journey to a more peaceful, focused life involves addressing both types of clutter. Start small. Choose one drawer, one corner, or one recurring thought to tackle. Let go of what no longer serves you, whether it's an old sweater or a lingering regret. Celebrate your progress, and remember that decluttering is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. By bringing awareness to both our physical spaces and our mental landscapes, we can create a sense of clarity and calm that supports our well-being. In a world that constantly demands our attention, learning to declutter, inside and out, might just be the most powerful act of self-care we can offer ourselves. For years, my life felt like a constant whirlwind, an endless to-do list, cluttered spaces, and a mind that never seemed to rest. Anxiety was my daily companion, often overwhelming me with racing thoughts and a sense of being out of control. I tried everything: meditation, therapy, exercise. While each helped in its own way, nothing brought lasting relief. It wasn't until I stumbled upon the concept of minimalism that things began to truly change. Minimalism, at its core, is about intentionally choosing what adds value to your life and letting go of the rest. At first, it seemed like just another trend: images of sparse white rooms with a single plant or people living out of a suitcase. But as I dug deeper, I realized it was less about deprivation and more about making space. Space to breathe, space to think, and space to feel calm. I began with my physical environment. My apartment was filled with stuff I never used: clothes that no longer fit, kitchen gadgets gathering dust, and stacks of old magazines. Each item felt like a silent reminder of unfinished tasks or failed aspirations. The process of decluttering was surprisingly emotional. Letting go of things meant confronting memories and letting go of parts of my identity I'd outgrown. But with every bag I donated and each drawer I emptied, I felt a weight lift. As the physical clutter disappeared, I noticed my anxiety begin to ease. Walking into a tidy open space brought a sense of calm I hadn't experienced in years. I no longer lost time searching for misplaced items, and I felt less overwhelmed by the sheer volume of things demanding my attention. My home became a sanctuary, a place where I could relax and recharge. Minimalism soon extended beyond my belongings. I started evaluating how I spent my time and energy. My calendar, once packed with obligations, began to open up as I learned to say no to activities and commitments that didn't truly matter to me. Rather than filling my evenings with mindless scrolling or background noise, I created intentional routines, reading, journaling, or simply sitting quietly with a cup of tea. These small moments of stillness became anchors in my day, grounding me even when life felt chaotic. Social minimalism was another challenge. I realized that not every relationship in my life was healthy or supportive. By focusing on those connections that brought joy and understanding, I found my social interactions became more meaningful and less draining. It was difficult to let go of some friendships, but the quality of my relationships improved as I invested more deeply in the people who mattered most. Even my digital life underwent a transformation. My phone, once a source of constant distraction, became a tool rather than a tether. I unsubscribed from emails, deleted unused apps, and silenced notifications. The endless barrage of information and comparison faded, replaced by a sense of presence and intentionality. Through minimalism, I discovered that anxiety thrives in chaos. When our environments, schedules, and minds are cluttered, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. By stripping away the non-essential, I created room for calm, clarity, and joy. I learned that I didn't have to do it all or own it all to feel fulfilled. In fact, having less allowed me to appreciate more. Minimalism isn't a magic cure, and it doesn't eliminate anxiety entirely, but it has given me the tools to manage it, creating a foundation of simplicity and peace in a world that often feels anything but. Today, my life is far from perfect, but it is intentional, and that has made all the difference.